Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Footy Abroad here on four of your favourite YouTube channels, Saints TV, Swoop Luke, Pommy and Oz, and Blue Abroad. It is, lads, it is Tuesday, the 1st of April, 2025. It's airy season. What is happening?
Guys, did anyone get April Fool's pranked today?
Yeah, you got me good, like real good this morning.
What happened?
I put up a post that said Nick Dacos wasn't playing versus the Blues, and I put I wrote like a club statement as well and put it up like I normally would. So I did that yesterday and scheduled it for 8 a.m. today because I've learned that you have to go early in the morning, like early. Otherwise, everyone knows it's April Fool's. So that was fun. I got abusive comments, which is always fun. It was lots of heart attacks, which is nice.
Did your clubs do anything? My clubs?
No,
they didn't. Twitter got me bad. I was searching and I saw that someone tweeted that Naz isn't happy with his offer that St Kilda gave him, and so he was chatting to Burgoyne at Port Adelaide. He's keen on that, and I was ready to go make a video, and then I'm like, wait, it's April 1st. I would have looked like the biggest asshole if I had done that, but luckily April Fool's on me. But I mean, it could still ring true, but for now, hopefully it's April Fool's. Got me good though.
Pommy, can you imagine Carlton trying to do an April Fool's post this morning?
I mean, without sounding like a spinster, I'm 40 years old, so I'm like beyond that. So I didn't fall for it, and I didn't partake in it, to be honest.
I screenshotted Luke's post this morning and sent it straight to. And I was about to send it to Luke, my graphics guy, because I've got Nick Dacos on the thumbnails this week. Because if Nick Dacos wasn't playing, then I would have had to have changed Nick Dacos to someone else.
Yeah.
But then I caught on. So well done, April Fools. But yeah, there's only two fools in this chat, guys. There's only two fools in this show.
God, fun stuff.
Anyway, I don't know who. I think this might have gone to you, Luke. This is from to Jake from Teresa.
Really?
I was going to give this to Luke, but I'm still mad about his April Fools, and I can't give money to those Carlton stinkers after their loss.
I'll take that. Thank you. That's awesome.
Just Bradbury $10. How good's that?
Yeah.
Lucky Jake's going to be sharing that with us. A loaf of bread each.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a given. It's a given, boys.
Yeah. Anyway, lads, lots to get through. Very excited. Let's start with each of you. How are we doing? How your team went? Give us the update. Pommy, we'll start with you, mate. What happened on the weekend with your team?
My team now. Much the same of the last 2 weeks. As Walter says, he's right. My team is trash, and it's okay. I'm content with that. It's all right. Do you know what I mean? If we played a proper sport and it was only two halves, that would be good, because like if we just took the first two quarters, we'd be best team in the league. So there's a silver cloud there. But again, tale of two halves, as the old saying goes, isn't it? The first was bit beautiful, bit of sprinkle there. You started to believe, and like your uncle Damien telling you when you're 7 years old, Santa's not real. It completely broke at the end, but there we are. Hey, we're still here. I'm still happy. It's all good. Yeah. Football.
That's great. Football. Go football. Jake, how about you, mate? Moving on.
Actually, I saw a crazy stat today that Carlton were fourth for minutes led overall this season, and we were fifth. So that's pretty crazy. But
that would be that's Jake. You let us know how the Saints are going.
Pretty good, actually. Pretty good. We had a good win on the weekend. Challenging first half. Richmond played pretty well for 2 quarters, and got a little. I'm not too worried, but we didn't want to have one of those games that we've seen too many times, where we have a good win and then we back it up playing a team we should beat and beat them, but not in a convincing way. And to have our biggest win in 10 years under the roof is incredible. The last I think our biggest win, round 14, 2015 against the Bombers, 110 points was the next best. To do it basically in a half. That's what impresses me the most, is that it was 8 points at halftime, and then we outscored them by 74 points and kicked 15 goals in the second half, 94-20 or whatever it was. So that's astounding. It's probably the biggest half any team's put together this year, I think. So that was nice. Considering the players that we're missing, considering people's perception of the way Ross coaches, but I think we're slowly putting that to bed the last 2 weeks, kicking 98 plus points in a row, and now we're just going to go and play a team we can't bloody beat in Port. We struggle against them every single year, no matter how shit they are, and they're not that great, to be honest, this year, so it's going to be a test over there, and if we can get that done, then maybe the Sunnies. So the Sunnies weren't coming on today. We played Richmond. The lid is firmly on, but if we can beat Port, I dare say I might be a little bit more rowdy, more on the wines next week, but we'll see.
Standards at the Saints are
We're doing well.
lifting.
We're doing well. Just cruising at the moment, which is nice. Look at the darting eyes. Love it.
I'm all good. Pies didn't lose, which is nice. Just refreshed after 3 games in, what was it? 3 games in like 12 days, maybe, or 3 games off, 6-day breaks each, or whatever it was. Just an insane start to the season, and we get a couple players back. I just saw that comment. Is that the ayahuasca comment?
That is quality from MDR.
So just ready to take on the Blues this week.
Yeah.
2
Me
days.
too.
2
So
fucking
excited.
days. Should be good. But we'll get into that later. Do topics
We
first?
will. I'm sure we'll have some space for the Carlton Collingwood chat.
We'll hold space.
Yep. Okay. I had a comment to make, but I'm going to wait until we get to Carlton Collingwood chat, so we can limit Carlton chat because I can't stand them at the moment. But that's okay. Right. Moving on. Pommy, back to you, mate. Why don't you kick us off? What's on your mind, mate? What happened in your head this week that you want to bring to the table?
So having intel on the other topics, I'll do Jake a solid. So we've got, obviously this week, we've had like a plethora of speculation, haven't we? You've got Zach Butters, the article today that Hawks are in the window, Pies have met with him, Essendon and Richmond are banking cap space to have a punt at him as well. Then you've also got the story that Sam Mitchell met with Alan for a coffee, like he did when he went to the Battle wedding. Then you've also got the Tom de Koning story, really, really gathering heat in the last couple of days since Carlton lost to the Dogs. My question is, have we ever had a season like this where it's almost like we're talking that players are leaving and it's round 3? From my recollection, this usually becomes content around the bye towards the end of that. Is it happening because it's the nature of the beast now? We're going to start seeing the cap rise, more players are going to move? Or do you think this is more of a media-led narrative because there is so many channels that they're just frantically trying to find something to write about? Because it does seem weird. We are 3 games in, and there's sensational articles that Oscar Allen should be stripped of captaincy because he's met for a coffee. Zach Butters, he's injured. Is he really committed? Port need him. Does feel like it's just unnecessary round 3 to be having players are about to walk out of their clubs.
Well, I'm seeing it a lot with like the Braden Maynard thing as well. So he's obviously the biggest cat that we have that's unsigned. And there's all this speculation that he goes to the Kangaroos, and that was just for about 2 weeks. Every single footy show was just giving off different bits of news, and it was just insane. Like, I think it is. You're right. It is a little bit sensationalism as well. And who was it? I don't know who said it, but I can only assume it was Corns that said to strip Oscar Allen of his captaincy or to hand it in before the next time he plays. It's just nuts, right? But I think this is why we need. It's not going to work ever, but this is why we need mid-season trading. Just get the speculation out. If TDK wants to go to St Kilda or if Butters wants to go to Hawthorn, just do it now. Just do it in the mid-season, and then you don't have to wait, 12 months of all this speculation, all of this taken away from your team, because that's what it's really doing. It's taking away from the team.
Does that affect draft pick like collateral though, and trades and all that sort of stuff though, because of the end
Probably.
of season ladder positions? So you trade based on where you are.
Unrestricted free agents and stuff.
Yeah, because if it's mid-season and say you're 7th, and then by the end of the season you're 15th, that team misses out on a first-round pick in that trade. You know what I mean? Because they've done it early.
Yeah.
But is it just the sacrifice of, hey, we get the player early, but we probably, the cost is different? Like, I don't know. I feel like that gets complicated a little bit.
Yeah, it's not as clean cut as the soccer is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it has something to do with injecting more footy shows onto the mainstream media, and one of them is literally called The Agenda Setters. I think it's got something to do with that. That'll just blow up any story. I don't know the exact number of new shows that have been added to the circulation of media, but yeah, I reckon it's got something to do with that. And also, I mean, when you're talking about someone like Tom de Koning or someone like Brayden Maynard from one of these types of clubs, it's usually gets a little bit more attention because the fan bases are big and they react. We get defensive, and the Pies. I don't know what the Pies narrative is around Maynard. I just can't see either of them leaving for what it's worth. I just can't.
Yeah, no, Maynard is too much. I think we talked about it last week. They're too. He's too heart and soul to sort of leave. Like, but didn't we say that? Like, you don't see him having that grunt for another team other than
the care factor. Yeah, I mean, Jake seems to think PDK's a done deal.
No, I don't think it's a done deal, but I think it's probably got more legs than a lot of people think. I think anyway, especially. And the thing is, this shit ties into the team performance. So if Carlton's winning, this speculation's not really there because people would just assume TDK's closer to flag. He's going to ignore this insane amount of money that he'll make at another club to win the ultimate in the most, in the recent future. But because Carlton have been losing, that speculation amps up. They get more clicks. Carlton fans are probably a bit more clickbaity at the moment because they're a bit nervous about the team's performance on the field and they want to keep their best players. But now the funny thing is, I see in the comments all these Carlton people saying, "Oh, he should go now because we're not worthy." So it's like they know what they're going to get when they post these topics because the Carlton fans jump on it straight away and the Collingwood fans. But Collingwood have been winning, so it's probably less. I would feel, I don't know what you think, Swoop, but I feel like it's less of a kind of a focus because you have been kind of performing. I don't know. And you got Dan Houston, like at least you got a good acquisition as well in a similar position. Maybe it kind of softens the blow. I'm not too sure.
It's just like you said, I think with Collingwood and Carlton especially, it doesn't matter if you're winning or sort of losing. I guess with St Kilda as well. If there's a grade player getting put on the trade table or whatever it is, and 1,000 shows talking about him, you could win 23 games in a row, and some people will still sort of complain about it and talk about it and be clickbaited by it.
Yeah, and I think, yeah.
Oh, sorry, go.
Who?
Sorry, I was gonna ask Pommy what he thought.
Yeah, no, go Pom, you go.
I mean, I think it's more. I think it's always going to be news. Like knowing Carlton fans, I think even if we were 4-0,
yep,
it would still cause the argument. To be honest, I think people would still get a little bit up in the arms about it. I think when people think about it, when you actually work it out in tax, it's like 400k difference based on what Carlton originally offered him, which is still a lot of the money if you total that up over the time. I don't think. I think people are living in cuckoo land. Because I think there's also an element for TDK going to St Kilda no one talks about, which is his body. He's going to be rucking at Carlton 90% of the time for the next 10 years. He looks at Saints, he's probably doing it 50% of the time. And looking at how Rowan Marshall's working, it looks like Ross has found a strategy to not have him purely as a ruckman. Looks like he's got that idea in mind. So then TDK's got that option. Do I earn boatloads of cash? And when people say Carlton are close to Saints and a flag, pre-season, 100%, we are. I think there's no doubt about it. But we've seen how quickly Hawthorn have gone from a team of, they've got Sam Frost at fullback, just target it, to suddenly Barras and Battle are there. And suddenly you ain't laughing, they're doing it. So nothing says to me St Kilda can't make two. I think if you got Zach Butters and TDK and you put them in that team now, we'd all be like, hang about, this is a bit of a problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that, I don't buy that. For me, I don't like it this early though. Like, I know he's the captain, Oscar Allen, but it is a bad look. And I loved Luke Hodges 10 years ago. This just didn't happen. So it's hard to really judge it on today's players. That player movement is opening up rapidly. Because obviously 10 years ago, we'd probably not know Oscar Allen sat down and had a coffee with Sam Mitchell either. No one would have been there with their little spies and stuff. They would just had a coffee, gone their separate ways. It's probably happened for years, hasn't it? Like years there's been secret little dark sipping lattes together and saying, how
Just
come
have
to
a
you in
Zoom call.
September?
Have a Zoom call, lads. Honestly,
Exactly.
set up
right.
StreamYard. Send Oscar Allen a link. Jump on for 20 minutes. Have a chat, and then go your separate ways and focus on the season. You got to meet in person and have publicity going on and getting photos. Like, come on.
That's
You
true.
don't
I
need
just
to meet
wanna-
straight away.
I do want to make mention of something that Craig Kelly said, just in regards to exactly what you sort of said, Pom. So Craig Kelly on membership day a couple of weeks ago was asked about Braden Maynard, and he said, what everyone needs to understand and what's changed in the industry is that when players talk to other clubs when they're a free agent, it's okay, it's fine. This is something that the industry has got to get its head around. People just need to relax a bit. Everyone's talking to everyone when they're becoming a free agent. It's the reality of life, and it's a great opportunity for the players. Which kind of, and then he goes on to say, if Maynard does want to sign with the Kangaroos, good luck, mate. If the opportunity is there, even though we want you to be here, we want you, we'll just wish you good luck, which is what kind of, when your CEO comes out and says that, you're like, hang on a second, like what the fuck, like what's going on here? Like what's going on here? But the main part was that him saying, and because he was a part of the player movement, he was a player manager and stuff like that. To say that this is the industry that we're in now, like we're always going to have players talking to coaches and clubs, 24/7 pretty much, or, during the season.
Yeah, to answer Richard's question as well, if the season finished now and TDK did what, Carlton would get a pick if it was band one, which it should be on that money, after their original pick. So Hawthorn currently own 3, so Carlton would jump to pick 4. So Hawthorn would have 3, our old pick. We would get a new pick 4. And there is that comment. This is what annoys me as well about the media. Very much they don't actually explain. Thanks. They don't actually explain the ins and outs, because there's a common misconception I've been seeing. And I'm always like, you're writing these articles, why don't you explain to the fans how it works? So Carlton couldn't actually match the bid. So how the AFL works, when that bid is in, Saints would have to be able to prove that on the day of writing, that fits in their salary cap. So for Carlton to match before delistings and stuff, they would have to prove on the day of matching it, they have the cap space to facilitate that. And it can't be done on provision.
Right.
Don't
See,
worry.
I knew that.
Yeah, so, and it can't be done like, oh, it's all right, we'll speak to Cripps, and Cripps has agreed 2026, he'll flip this. They would actually have to have all that in place on the day. So that's why when people ask, there was a very similar thing happened with Perryman. Perryman was band 2 originally, and the rumours are you paid him 50k more. So it flipped it to band 1, which then gave GWS access to 16, not a later pick. And that happens quite a bit in the AFL. So it's fascinating. I always think, why don't they say that? Because it was like I was listening to Damien Barrett talk about it the other day, and he was alluding that Carlton could get multiple picks if they do it. So the thing is, it's probably 1.7 million, because Saints will have a very good intel on where Carlton's cap is from when Sauce was there. So it's such a specific figure. To me, it strikes me as he's going to offer one that is out of the purview of Carlton, not having to rapidly delist someone or rapidly change something on the list in preparation for that.
Well,
Right.
So yeah, when it makes sense if people wonder why that happens, because I could be a dickhead as a list manager and go, "Well, we'll match it. We'll match it," and you'd never lose anyone, would you? You could have like these secret.
Exactly.
And then and clubs have got to be safe from themselves. So what people think, the AFL equalisation law isn't for equalisation. 90% of it is written because in the 80s and the 90s, clubs were incompetent, right? So clubs would just pay too much, would do stupid little back-ended deals. So most of the rules aren't actually to protect the player or the club. It's actually to protect the club from themselves, because I would say without this rule, Carlton would go, fuck it, 2 million. And then 2 years later, everyone mass walks out. So they've got to do that. So fascinating one. It is a really exciting one, the TDK case, because unlike most Carlton fans, I can list you just as many reasons to leave as many reasons to stay from both ends of the pulpit. And I don't believe playing for Carlton holds that much pedigree anymore as it used to do 20, 30 years ago. I think these players just want to earn their money and get out very quickly.
Yeah.
He was a Saints fan growing up too, wasn't he?
Changes
Saints
depending
boy?
on who you ask. I think it was Geelong, from memory.
I've seen one photo and he was in Saints gear, but I don't know, maybe.
I thought he was a Saint too, and he loved Nick Revolt, and he wore the 12.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Might be. There is about 9 of them, though.
All right. I like it. Good question. Luke, let's go to you, mate.
Cool. So I'm going to go, I've had 2 topics. I'm going to go with my second one. The whole Mansell Tribunal case. So it's just been upheld. So he gets his 3 weeks for that push. First off, want to know what you guys, and I get everyone in the comments as well, what you guys think about it, and then I'll give my opinion on it. So if for those who don't know, pushed another player, I can't remember who it was, into a contest. Player got knocked out.
O'Connell.
It was a Sainer, wasn't it?
O'Connell.
One of the new kids. Yeah. And concussion, and then he's not going to play. And Mansell, Richmond go to the tribunal, try to get his 3 weeks dismissed, and it gets upheld. Is it something that we need to stamp out, or is it just the rule of the month?
I just want to just show it.
Yes.
In like frame, like as in frame by frame.
I didn't see it at the ground, to be honest. Didn't even
be
notice
too
it.
busy crying with all the goals he kicked.
So it's this, and I think I reckon we spoke about it from the preseason game, and I think one of you might have said if we don't stamp it out now, it's like someone's going to do it. Well, here it is. So he's obviously just pushed there, and it's dangerous, and it's one of those ones.
Yep.
They just stuffed up without setting a precedent. They stuffed up. They should have done it. If they had have done it in the preseason, I think people would accept this. It's not, this isn't 3 weeks. It's just, how is this 3 weeks and you didn't do it before? You know what I mean? Like they needed to set the tone early. They needed to say, okay, the Lawler thing, that's 2 or 3 weeks. They didn't do it. They shut the bed. And then there's been a couple more and no problem. And then this one happens. They go, all right, this one's 3 weeks because it's getting attention. It's getting press. Coincidentally, it is a Richmond player, which just makes it more comical, to be honest. But I don't think anyone's questioning that it should have been a suspension. It's just, why did you pick this one out of all of them to make the example when you had multiple examples already happen in the last 2 months? That's my view anyway.
From the AFL's point of view, you don't want to get suspension happy and trigger happy, because then you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I think if you're the league, you put out a statement to each club saying, hey, don't do this. We've seen this has happened. You sort of put out a memo to the clubs. Then it happens again, and then it happens again, and now it's continuing to happen. It's almost like you just have to suspend someone when it happens. Do you think it'll happen again after this season now, or do you think the message is really clear?
I think the message is really clear now. Surely. I
still think it'll happen. It's like any high tackle, sling tackle, elbow. It's in the heat of the moment. To be honest, they were both kind of like, if I'm being really picky, they were both kind of pushing against each other, and then the momentum changed because O'Connell went to like he kind of faced towards the ball. So you can kind of make a case that he kind of pushed him off him. But I'm just trying to go from both sides here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see these things happening. There's too many contests in a game. There's too many one-on-ones. I don't know if it's 3 weeks. I still think it would have been a fair enough example if it was 1 or 2. I feel like jumping straight to 3 is a bit harsh. Exactly like what Jim just said there. 3 is harsh. I think, like that just seems a little overboard to me. 1 or 2 would have done the job and would have set the standard and put the AFL on notice. Because we don't really know. Did the AFL actually... all right, Tori, thanks for that. Do we know if the AFL actually sent out a press release in the lead up to the season about this specific action?
I think they sent it out to the clubs after those first couple of ones that happened, and they said, hey, we're going to sort of stamp this out. But I think 3 weeks is a little bit too harsh. But I think Ben was right. If he doesn't get concussed, it's probably 1 or 2, maybe not even anything, to be honest. Same thing like the Mason Cox thing. Is that different if Cox gets concussed and can't play with the accidental hit on?
It is different.
It's a lot of outcome. It's a lot of outcome based.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. But like, that's where the gray area happens, right? You know, are we talking about this if he doesn't get concussed? Like, it's just
What if he pushes him into traffic and then O'Connell takes a Rewalt-esque mark back with the flight? And wins mark of the round. Does Mansell still get 3 weeks?
Yeah, because it's still an illegal action, right? You're still putting him in danger. So
there you go.
It is a weird one. Pom, what do you reckon?
I find it fascinating because the review of the Ginby one, which Gus brought up, phenomenal football knowledge, my friend, and I know some of the others did as well. The AFL actually said that he wasn't aware, so they couldn't charge him with rough conduct, because he wasn't aware of where he was pushing him, because he had eyes behind him and then he pushed to try and get the contest. And that's what Richmond have argued as well. Now, Layla, as we saw, he had a broken jaw. He suffered concussion. It's a dirty play, but I think when you think that Ginby got nothing and this guy got something, and I think this one looks more negligent than Ginby's. I think Ginby's was just a genuinely stupid play. And I think with Mansell's, it was equally. But I know people are using that phrase, dog, ban him for life. When I watched Mansell, I think he should have been done 3 weeks ago. I think when you've done something in pre-season and you've said, he's done bad, we need to stop it, for then it just jumped to 3 weeks from a slap on the wrist, effectively.
Yeah.
And this is where them grey areas come, and I think the AFL needs to remove these grey areas. Like, it's safer for the players, because if that happens this week, what happens? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like, what happens? Is it 5 weeks? Does it go up, or will it be 3 weeks? I can't remember which game I was watching. I think it was the Brisbane Geelong game, but Mullin did the same, and it just didn't hit anyone. But the ball was coming in and he just pushed him as he was off balance and he went skittling towards the contest and he just missed everyone. So it's like, okay, but then are we going to take out that as a fine as well? Because all that's happened with Ginby, Mansell and the Brisbane game, I think there was one in the Adelaide game as well where it happened a couple of times, because Adelaide love that little cheat code, which turns me on as well, right? If there's an outcome, because that's just ridiculous, isn't it? That's like saying, oh, it's all right, drink driving as long as you don't hit anyone. Do you know what I mean? Like, it needs to be, the action needs to be punished irregardless of the outcome. And that's the AFL, isn't it? If someone gets knocked out, we know it's going to be a suspension. If the guy gets up because he's superhuman, everyone's like, oh, that's good. So, yeah, I think it should be a blanket rule.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yes.
I think it is one of the ones that we're going to see a lot of throughout the season. Maybe not sent to the tribunal like they did today and try and plead it, but I think it will be, you know. And just on this as well, I noticed it a lot in the games that I was watching. Whatever happened? Talking about bloody, you know, theme of the week. Whatever happened to the abuse towards umpires and getting a 50 meters? Did they just forget about that?
It's gone.
It's gone, right? Or is it
Hasn't
just me
happened
seeing it?
since Jordan Clark in Gather Round last year.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Actually,
gone.
wait, didn't it happen in the Collingwood Freo draw? Was there something
No,
linked
that
to
was
that?
he threw it to Sullivan gave it to Nick Dacos instead of the umpire. But
That's right.
you see it all the time. Remember they were giving him away for telling the umpire to look at the screen. He's like, no.
Yeah.
I saw Stephen May do it 12 times on the weekend, and it was nothing. like this. It's just, just that's the most annoying part about the AFL. Unfortunately, and Andrew Dillon, I know you're watching right now. That's the most annoying part about the AFL. Just some consistency, brother. Please, Jesus Christ.
It does worry me because Fogarty does it a lot. Have you seen, Terry, if we're honest, Fogarty in forward contests loves you're too big than me, so I'll just push you with momentum. So I did watch this and think, well, he's out for 6 weeks next week. Brilliant.
It's a big watch. Well, every year there is a theme. Clearly, the one that's popped up this year is the pushing a player into the contest.
That and the 15 meters. That's a big one.
Oh,
that is enormous.
Yeah,
that's probably the biggest.
meters.
That's probably bigger than the push right now. That's insane.
It's killing
play
fantasy teams. It's killing fantasy teams, man.
Do you know the one I want stamping out? And everyone in chat will back me this because I call them out all the time because I actually reckon it costs more games than bad umpiring decisions. But it's the throw. Have you noticed it? Cripps, right? I'll hand on heart. Cripps throws it 9 out of 10 times out of a contest, totally gets away with it. But the Geelong-Brisbane game, I watched it again, right? When Geelong were ahead, Brisbane, Neil popped 2 throws, blatant, which one of them resulted in a goal. The Geelong game the week before when they came back from nowhere, right? And they nearly won against St Kilda. Literally the entire fourth quarter was pure George Gregan from Geelong. And it wasn't even hidden, but because it happens so fast, that is the one I think costs games because the amount of times you see the one-handed, like Cripps did one against the Dogs, right? And I love Cripps, but he had literally one hand behind his back and he just did the whole like that. And he got pinged for one a minute earlier. And I'm like, it does take the piss. Like, and that I think costs games because it's usually when the game is tight, everyone's spreading, the guy's done the right thing and got him, and he's just done the old bob out, and he's then got his left hand. Because if you watch Danger, he does it all the time when he's tackled. He'll throw it left-handed, but then he'll do the punch action about a minute after the ball's left. And it's like, come on, bro.
That's the game is so quick that those decisions go miss, but it's no coincidence that the decisions they generally get right are holding the ball and deliberate out of bounds. And the two similarities are there's a giant lead up to the decision being made. The ball's trickling to the boundary, goes over. They have time to think about it. They listen to the crowd. They see the players complaining and pleading for it. They give it. Holding the ball's the same. Someone gets tackled. The players around them are saying ball. They're basically calling the free kick for them. And then they call it. But that's another one that was contentious. I can't remember which game. Actually, it was the Carlton game, maybe McGovern. He just stood there. Was it the Carlton game? He stood there and let it go out of bounds? Or was that a different game? It was a deliberate out of bounds anyway. And a player
sounds like
stood
this
there
at the moment.
Was Nick Haynes there watching it with him?
Let's just assume it was Nick Haynes. Let's just say, hypothetically, Nick Haynes stood near the boundary and the ball, when it trickled over, he had more time to pick it up and play on and keep it inboard, which would have been a bigger advantage to whoever team it was. Instead, they let it go out and then it's deliberate out of bounds. How is that not as much deliberate as the deliberate they're pleading for? You want it to go out of bounds. Isn't that, that's not intent to keep it in?
This. I think the solution, the insufficient intent rule. Can we just make it deliberate again?
Yeah. Or do what the AFLW do. Last touch.
Yeah. Well,
Jeez,
yeah.
that guy.
You know the one that does my head in, though, with the deliberate out of bounds is like when the opposition... I don't like it where they only count your team. So there was one against Gold Coast where they'd cleared their lines and Tuck Miller literally walked to the ball to let it go over the bounds, and then the umpire called it and it allowed him to play on quickly. And I'm like, technically it was to his advantage, though. They've cleared their lines. He would have got the ball out in space. So this free kick really hinders everyone.
That's my point.
Should be...
Yeah.
I hate it because literally Miller took the piss. He was in 20 meters of space and he's kind of just walking, blowing it over the line, knowing the umpire will ping it. And I'm like, I would have, if I was the umpire, I would have called a boundary throw. I'd have been like, you know what, fuck you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're going to take the piss, no free kick.
No, I think Terry's right. I think going back to what Terry said, going back to deliberate out of bounds is the way to go. Insufficient intent doesn't even make sense. Just add more grey to the fucking grey game.
Because if you're rushing a behind and you're under pressure, the pressure is taken into account. If you're kicking the ball in the wing and you're under pressure and you bang it on the boot to get it out of the, and you're under pressure, the pressure is not taken into account. It's so strange.
No. My intent to get it out of the content was sufficient. That was my intent to get it out of the content. It was sufficient. What do you mean it's insufficient intent now?
It should be the same rule as deliberate rush behind. If you are blatantly under the cosh, all you've done is bang it on the boot. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
If it's one where you've popped it out in space and there's a bit of pressure, but you are uncontested and you've completely bowls the kick up, okay, fair enough. But I'm with you, Terry. Some of that, one of the ones that got called, I think it was in the Essendon game against Port. He's just completely shit himself. I think it was Nick Cox, absolutely shit himself because 8 Port players are on him. And he has gone the right direction. He's just completely buggered the kick up. And if you watched it, you'd be like, he tried to get it there. It's just the pressure. And fair enough. I do find it stupid because I was like, if he'd ran it out of bounds, the umpire would have been like, ball in.
Yeah.
And players do that anyway. Wow, when they're getting tackled and they turn to the boundary and they basically then just dive over the line as they're getting tackled. It's the same thing. Players love the boundary. It's their
honestly, just cancel the throw though. That would make the game better, I'm telling you. You watch now. Next game, all of you be honest. We'll do that next week. How many throws did your team get away with? Because I would say we're close to top of the league.
I'd love to know the stats on how many boundary throw-ins per game we're seeing now compared to 10 years ago. If players hug the boundary more, they prefer it, they want stoppages. I'd love to see that stat if anyone can find it. Wooden Spoon Data, it's probably
Wooden Spoon Data
project for Woody if he's listening.
Yeah. Sorry, just quickly, and I'm not going to change topic, but Shannon's said it twice. The 666 rule, they've got enough. They've got enough warning now. They know that with this rule has been here for fucking 10 years.
Yeah.
There's no warning. You fuck up, that's it. Free kick, 50, whatever it is. Done. You don't need
How many warnings do you need to get? What happens? You get 10 warnings and you get a free kick? What's the go?
Or
that's one warning now, then the free kick.
Get rid of it. Yeah. Or get rid of it. Yeah.
Get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
You know the other one that needs to go as well, because this happened all the time in that Geelong game as well. When I went and rewatched it, the Ruck nomination.
Yes.
It was almost like the umpire forgot that Sam de Koning is now a Ruck. So he was literally asking Geelong all the time, who is it? Who is it? And I'm like, just as soon as one Ruckman's there, throw the fucker up. Teams will quickly start getting into that contest. We'll soon start to do it.
Yeah, or just if you see a third player go up, it's a free kick to the other team. That's it.
Exactly.
Done.
That's it.
Done.
If it's 2 players, whoever, size, shape, form, whatever, that's it. That's fine. It doesn't matter. It's a third man up that we want to stop, right?
We should put nominations up that will be the CEOs.
Sense.
We'll be the CEOs of the AFL.
Rowan Marshall stands next to Jack Higgins, and the ump's like, "Who's nominating?" Well, let's just take a stab in the dark, shall we? Come on, mate. Jesus.
Honestly, it was about 20 minutes into the second of the Geelong game, and Sam de Koning's there, and Brisbane, they're ready to go. They've got Darcy Fort, and Sam de Koning's wandering, and he's like, "Is it you, Sam? Is it you? Is it you?" And I'm like, "Just fucking throw it up. Tell Sam to get on his bike. Why are you helping him? Punish him."
Yeah.
Do they do it for this? Yeah. Do they do it literally every contest? They have to
every
nominate?
contest.
Because
some of the umpires though, you'll notice, are nice. Because Carlton did it when I think it was either Motlop or one of the weird guys went in the ruck. It wasn't Cripps a couple of weeks ago, and it was literally we were taking too long. So one of the boys just said, "I'll fucking do it, mate." But some of them are harsh like that, saying it's going to be now, got to be now. Don't care who it is. Someone go in. or they'll do it uncontested. Some of them, though, are really nice and are like, oh, it's all right, it's Sammy. Just wait a minute. You calm yourself, Dars. Come on, Sam. Get in the ruck, bro. Get in. And I'm like, nah, fuck it, throw it. But I agree with Andy Hill. I thought third man up was the tits. Like, why did we get rid of it? It was brilliant.
Yeah, that was good fun.
Can I just say, the last 10 minutes of whatever just happened is peak footy abroad.
It was there.
Peak.
There was an energy. There was something in the air there.
Whatever just happened in that 10, 15 minutes was like prime time football chat. Oh,
Can I give a shout out as well to Ben, Laughing Magpie, done his apprenticeship, done loads of training, started his new job at Emirates Lounge this week. So huge shout out to him. He's working full time. He's gone through quite a lot. So lots of love from all of us.
Huge.
On you, mate.
TLM.
Awesome.
Loving my new job at the Emirates Lounge. I'm on my break. I get access to the company food, the Moroccan
chicken.
chicken.
Moroccan chicken.
Damn.
I mean,
hey, let's get round to his calf.
All right. I've got one. I know I told you guys the question beforehand, but I will just repurpose it, make it a little bit easier to answer because it might be a bit tricky. But I basically wanted to shed some light on who you all are outside of your fan channel. So, like, what's a fun fact about you that no one would know or very few people would know that you've never been asked about and you have an opportunity, like something you're interested in that no one would pick, or I don't know. I'll go first. You can all think about it. I was going to be most likely a Collingwood or Essendon supporter.
Thought so.
Whoa.
I thought so.
Yeah.
You got that Collingwood in you. I can feel it. I can feel it.
My mum didn't want to follow. So my grandfather was Essendon, my uncle was Collingwood, and my mum for some reason just was against them both, and she chose Carlton, and she's the reason why I'm a Carlton supporter.
Shit.
She broke the generational curse, but actually gifted me the generational
Gifted
curse.
you a curse.
Man, Swoop, we could have been doing Collingwood content, man. Oh,
mate. If I had 6 years ago, if I had seen you doing Collingwood content, I would have just been like, "Fuck, it's over." Like, there's no point. I may as well just follow Carlton now and do Carlton content.
yeah.
Oh, fuck,
anyway.
that would have been good. That would have been good. That's crazy though. How like a butterfly flaps its wings in China and there's an earthquake here. You know. Yeah. All right, what could have been, Terry? What could have been? Could have seen a couple of premierships.
Could have been. Anyway, you guys, what's a fun fact that people wouldn't know about?
I'll go. It's fresh. I'll go. It's fresh. It's fresh on my mind. So everyone knows. At least the Saners know I was a Collingwood supporter growing up.
Yeah,
so that's
boys.
Not big news. I was a Collingwood fan for a number of years. I remember 2003 going and seeing Chris Tarrant take that huge mark against the Cats. Swoop, if you remember, boundary line.
Yes.
Awesome mark. I remember that. But I don't know. I went through a phase. I love my sort of electro, sort of EDM type music, and I bought a MIDI keyboard. I remember, and made like 7 jams overnight with a mate who's a musician, and put them on YouTube, put them online, and they're still there somewhere. We're not listening to them,
Holy shit.
We absolutely are listening to them.
I love that sort of that heavy electro stuff. Hence, a lot of the tunes that are in my outros for my videos.
Jake, when are we going to a rave together, man? You never invite me to raves.
Mate, revs, I lasted 20 minutes in there once.
No, not revs, just raves in general.
Not
just raves in general, not revs. Far out.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Wow. Jakey's
Yeah,
at
so
a rave. Jakey's at a rave.
Jake has got double drop in written all over him.
I'll tell you, I still have that itch though of making music. Just at some point, I have that itch. I had guitar. I played drums a little bit growing up, and then made electric music with my mate, which was hilarious. We made a logo, everything. Did some music video type stuff. We stayed up so long making these tunes. It's not happening right now. I'm not going that far. This isn't Rip Jake.
I've got nothing else to do tomorrow. I've got nothing on tomorrow. I'm going to find it.
Just and making short films. Making short films and stuff like that. So That sort of
I
stuff.
love you, Jake,
man.
but why the fuck would you open this door? Like, why? Some doors keep it closed.
Hey, it's old stuff. It's old stuff. I'm a proud guy. I got nothing to hide. And Terry asked for something weird, and I firmly
No, I
delivered
like
on
it.
that,
You embraced exactly what I wanted from the question. Very good stuff.
Yeah, I could give you a couple of the titles of my hit tunes, but maybe another time. Did you guys see the McRae? Did you guys see the McRae song today that I posted?
Yeah, good.
On
Did
Instagram.
you rate it?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, just copied
Man
my
in the
song from
midfield.
3 days ago.
Yeah. I thought man of the midfield, man in the mirror. I thought that worked nicely. Nice Sainer doing that. But anyway, enough about me. Moving on.
I'll go next. I got props.
You got
You
what?
Props. I got props. So not
Oh,
a lot of
yes,
people not a lot of people know this about me, but I am besides making music and stuff, I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. So I print so I DM, so I'm a dungeon master. I print a lot of miniatures and paint them and stuff. So these are all my paints that I have, and you can see the
Wow.
paintbrush, and these aren't Dungeons and Dragons minis, but these are from a Marvel board game that I painted myself.
What?
So I've got there's about 300 of these. I've only painted a quarter of them, but in my downtime when I'm watching TV, I'll just set up my paint station in front of the TV and paint my little figurines.
Is that therapeutic? I feel like it would be
Yeah.
very therapeutic.
Very therapeutic. Yep. Very therapeutic. Yeah.
How much time would it take to make a little footy abroad sort of setup with us? Like little Jake, little Terry. Like, how long would that take?
Actually, you know what? We could probably do it. We could probably do it. And I could probably print them out. Leave it with me.
Sick.
Oh yeah,
So
we should talk to Nick.
I got a 3D
And
printer
for-
and stuff. Yeah, I actually have talked to Let Dog about his Warhammer and stuff as well a couple of years ago. Yeah. Yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun. So yeah, I love my DMs and stuff, DMing and Dungeons and Dragons stuff like that. Yeah.
There you go. I love that.
That's epic.
Pommy?
Hello. Okay. Which do we share with you? What haven't I shared with you guys and girls? Open book. Okay. When I got into private school, and one of the ways that I got into private school was I won a national award for poetry, and up until I was 16, my dream was to be a poet. So when I grew up, Sylvia Plath, Ted Hughes, they were massive influences on my childhood. So so when I went through my emo phase, if you've ever been an emo, Sylvia Plath is like the brilliant gateway. So I used to love writing dark poems about my childhood and my time in orphanages and things like that. So it really helped me through it. So it's something that I still do to this day, but more for myself. But one day I would love to write poems, like just actually release it. I just never got around to it.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool.
Not would love to, will do.
I don't know. That the words of my pop ringing my ears about it, but no, maybe one day, maybe.
Okay. There you go. That
Love
was
that.
great. That is exactly what I was hoping to get out of that little
That's
segment
really
there.
good. Yeah, we all went through a emo phase, Pom. I used to have a fringe that I could chew on in class. That's how long my fringe used to be.
Yeah, you know what? My original topic before Mr. Jake banned us from going too deep, and he wanted some comedic relief. You would have actually seen some pictures of emo Pom. That might be saved for next time. But no, I was a singer in a band as well, Luke. I know you were.
Yeah, I was too.
I tried to play bass, and me and my mates were in a little emo band from 14 to 18.
That's sick. Well, next week will be our musical episode when I find Jake's EDM music.
Nah, yeah.
Start a band.
Wait, Jake, did you have an emo phase?
Yeah. There's definitely photos online of me with the full sort of
Hang on.
fucking
Well-
emo.
I never had an emo.
You got to go back a long way. You got to go back a
No,
long way.
I'm not going to find your one.
Deep into the Linkin Park and Breaking Benjamin. if anyone knows that.
Yeah, geez. Yep.
I went to the Used concert once upon a time. They're like pretty heavy metal.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't
so-
know that. I mean,
Used
I never had an
Used is
emo
my
phase.
favorite band, but yeah,
Yeah.
My,
No,
MySpace. Oh god, that's not me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's you.
Oh,
Wow. I,
shit.
that is nuts.
Oh,
you go.
God. Fun
I
time.
did wear one time in year 12. I wore a Slipknot t-shirt. It was like dress up day. Like I dressed up as an emo and I had like eye mascara or whatever. Like, but that was just for one day.
Slipknot's not emo though.
Nah, Slipknot's.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Come
That's
on.
why I wasn't an emo.
That's why it was one day. That's why it was one day.
Don't insult us here, man.
That's about as
serious
close as I
here.
got. Sorry.
Oh, God.
We'll call it. That was as close to as the dark phase that I got.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Did you wear
Jake?
guy liner, Luke? I can see Luke with guy liner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Eyeliner, straighten my hair. Yeah.
Yeah,
What's guy
the
liner?
proper fringe.
Guy liner is just eyeliner, and we just used to call it guy liner. So we didn't say we were wearing eyeliner.
Ah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mrs. Pond won't let me grow my fringe back. It breaks my heart.
Come on, Mrs. Palm. Let him get his emo poem phase going.
Yeah.
Well, Jake,
Good one.
Yeah.
What
Oh
do you
yeah,
got
I've
for
got a
us, mate?
topic. Yeah, sorry, I thought we were almost.
are you going deep? What are you doing tonight? You going to go deep with us?
Well, I have two, but
Go
I'll go for the one I mentioned before. This was off the back of the success of my last topic. I think last week. Where was it last week? Where I said,
Yep.
what would we do at the running the AFL marketing? But this one's similar, but more specific to your club. So, what is one part of your club football experience, whether it's admin, the team itself, trades, marketing, branding, the Guernsey, even the song, if you would change it? I dare say that'd be very controversial. That if you're in control, you would like to improve. It can't be wholesale changes, just one particular thing that maybe you see over and over every week and it's a bugbear and you want to change it. Terry?
Thanks. So,
Itching to get this out.
Carlton home games. Okay, we do this thing. We try to introduce the Seven Nation Army. Okay, the song, which great song. What they did was, you know, the Freddie Mercury, "Hey, oh," and then like it goes.
Yeah.
It's that into Seven Nation Army. Boys, turn the fucking thing off. It's like screeching in my ears. They want to try and get people to like do this AL thing, then Seven Nation Army. It never worked. I'm so passionate about this. They just need to turn it off and just do Seven Nation Army, and that's it. I'm so passionate about it now because it hurts my ears when I hear it.
How long before the boys run out do they do that? Is there a big crowd or is it just like,
It's like the incoming 60 seconds before.
oh shit?
Ooh,
About-
so it should be full house. Yeah.
It doesn't. No, and then the worst part about it is they've put like fake crowd noises in it as well to make it seem like people are doing it.
Oh, that's even more embarrassing.
Oh, I love my club. I hate that sound.
You have to record it next time. Record it next time because I haven't heard it.
Okay.
At
Well,
the next
thankfully,
home
we're
game.
going to hear it on Thursday.
We won't hear it on because it's Collingwood's home game.
Yeah,
Right,
because
right.
Collingwood's home game.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's awful. Like, I'm all for trying new things, all for it. But at what point do you say this ain't working? No one's
Yeah.
doing it.
Mm.
Fuck. And to put fake crowd noises in is even funnier as well.
Oh,
I actually had someone suggest that, and this was kind of my thing leading into. I think a lot of us will suggest pre-game sort of stuff, and that was mine. But it was when the MC's calling out the team, the players. So number 2, number 3, you know, and
Yeah.
you get to like, and your captain Jack Steele, and everyone cheers for Steele. There's like 3 or 4 main players: Steele, Sinks, Marshall.
Yeah,
Owens,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
They get the big applause, and then it's like Angus Hasty, and it's dead, and you know, like no offense, but you know they're up and coming.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
someone suggested, why don't we just put fake cheers for all the players so it can kind of amp it up? And I'm like, maybe for that it could work a little bit, but that's kind of my one where the volume's way too low. You can't even hear them say the team name. They're playing a song over it, and I think it's if I remember correctly, the song is Club to Death by, I can't remember the guy, but it's the Matrix theme song. It's an awesome beat.
Yeah.
Definitely in my wheelhouse right there. And they put it on like one volume, and like it's just the guy saying number 2, number 3, and it's like there's no atmosphere. Like pump both of them, put them loud. So that was kind of my one. And then controversially, if you're the home team, should the away team get a banner?
No. And they shouldn't get their song.
Maybe they shouldn't.
They shouldn't get their song played if they win either.
I think they should. I agree. I don't agree. I think they should get their song if they win, but not when they run out. I think the home team should own it. It is your place. I hate when like Sydney or Brisbane come to the Marvel and we run out, and then they run out, and their song is just as loud as ours, like the volume wise. Put it down even.
Yeah.
Put it down.
I've never heard anyone say that. That's very clever.
I think it should be. It's your home game. You don't. Even sometimes they have a guard of honor with kids and stuff running out. I know sometimes milestones and whatnot, you got to do it. But in general, no banner, no people on the run out. The team just comes out. You don't even know they're out. It's all about St Kilda because it's their home game. Carlton, it's their home
I agree.
game.
That's a good one.
You know? Which I think would change the dynamic for like, a St Kilda home game against Carlton. Obviously, there's a lot of Carlton turnout, probably, obviously more. And I think that would make it more of a St Kilda home game against some of these bigger Melbourne teams as well, if that makes sense. Because you get to control that.
Do you know what we used to, when I used to play basketball and we'd do player introductions, we would put the Darth Vader music to when the opposing team would come and play at our home court. Yeah.
That's sick.
I wish we could just have like loud boos recorded for every team that runs out. And we just play that.
Can I go one further and set what you said? Amazing. I think there should be no theme songs running out at the start at all. It should just be Seven Nation, Blues running out to Seven Nation Army, Collingwood running out to whatever we fucking run out to, the intro of Lose Yourself or something big like they do in college. And then your team wins, you play the theme song. Fine.
Yeah, then it makes that more special, isn't it?
Who cares if it's at the start of the game? I'm not singing it. Are you guys singing it at the start of the game?
Especially if you're on a losing streak as well.
Yeah.
Come out with a big banger. Come out with a big tune. Get a bit of Jake's electronic going. I'll happily give them the rights. That's totally cool. And then you run out. Like, perfect. I don't mind that. They need to have more of a pre-game focus. I don't think there's enough attention put into it. I don't know if there's restrictions on what they can do, how much time they have budget-wise, but I feel like it's just not... there's not enough atmosphere pre-game, especially if it... we don't get huge crowds a lot of the time like Carlton and Collingwood at the G. So the fans give that atmosphere at the G, but at Marvel, sometimes if there's 20,000, you need to amp it up in different ways. And I don't think they do it.
I love theme songs before the game. I even like opposition teams' theme song before a game.
Right.
I enjoy it. Like I enjoy humming along to it. I mean, my sister and I have this thing that we do. We sort of like, we hum the Carlton theme song when it gets to a certain point. We do it super loud and obnoxious, and it's just like us being little kids. We've always done it. But I actually love most opposition theme songs. I don't mind jigging to them, but I mean, each to their own.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. You're not gonna, whatever decision any of the clubs make, you're never gonna please every single supporter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Pommy and Luke, did you do yours? What were yours?
I haven't went yet, but Pommy, do you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Jake. You've nailed it. Why do you need fake crowd noise as well? Like that annoys me. Australians hate boos. It's like the most offensive thing you can do. Like in the UK, that's the best thing going to a home game when they name your team and we've got the big Titantron, the music blaring, whatever your home theme song is, and then it's just like a shitty little guy going number 1. And then there's a big boo, and they deliberately build it up so the fans boo every one of them players and then leave a pause. If it was like Matt Kennedy, and they'd be like, and number 8, and there'd be like a pause, Matthew Kennedy, and then the crowd would erupt because he was an ex-player. They would deliberately single him out at a home game. For some reason it's weird, isn't it? Like Australians worry about it. But it's a boo. For me, you asked the question wrong and you've all cheated. You said your team specific, but I can do better than that. I'll give you names. I would remove 2 people from Carlton Football Club. Gavin who's head of marketing, communications and digital, and David Campbell, head of people and culture. Both of them frauds. And I'll tell you for why. Because I feel like Carlton's marketing to the AFL world is one of the most pig-headed, egotistical, and most self-righteous in the entire of the AFL. And I think it sends the wrong message to the players and the wrong message to the fan base worldwide. I think it makes us sound like we're pompous, arrogant idiots. And then when we do kick off, we're too passionate and we're too mindless. So them two would definitely be removed for two people that have spent time in America and see how they do the sport and how they treat us as human beings. And David Campbell, the milk monitor, that's literally his resume. He fucked about with fruit juice, thinks he's brilliant for it. Man who's in charge of people, culture and communication when we are the worst communicating side on field and off field. Harry plays a game 24 hours after public have been told he has personal leave issues, miraculously makes a recover 12 hours later, is in the paper for all the wrong reasons, and then suddenly is ready Thursday when you'd already told the world on Monday he was a test, when you could have just ignored it and given him the week he needed to do whatever he has done in his personal life. The world didn't have to hear it. So for me, based on what the rubbish the club has presented to the AFL for the last 2 years, both of them, if they were real men of their words, would fall on their sword. But they won't do until they're ousted. So for me, if you want to make my experience better, give me two people competent, please, who are into 2025 and have the intelligence and the EQ to deal with a passionate fan base that wants to create new memories, not be constantly drip-fed the old memories.
Slay.
I like that. Damn, boy. You got me fucking backing for Carlton right now.
I'll look forward to the texts, but if you are watching this, here's one for you. Yeah, have that one. No, you Australians hear that one too as well, don't you?
This is incredible.
Oh, God.
Absolutely incredible.
How am I supposed to follow that? I was just going to say...
Pommy gave the bird. Pommy gave the bird.
He gave the bird.
Oh, that's going in the promo next week. Look, I think Collingwood just need to have a little bit more fun with, and this is very obviously very Collingwood specific, but just more fun with their jerseys. Especially for like Gather Round. We're seeing Gather Round being a little bit more fun now. Sydney just released theirs, blah, 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 blah. Collingwood just need to listen to the fans in regards to jerseys. Like we all follow the soccer and stuff like that. And, there's always that third kit that's just so fucking random that it makes no sense whatsoever. It's because one of the sponsors is green. They're like, oh, let's just do a green kit for no reason. And I think Collingwood really need to employ that. Like our colors obviously are black and white, but on our logo, we've got a really nice gold going through it in the wreath. Something that has got like a predominantly gold strip for Gather Round, or go into the archives and get something from the 80s. In the 80s, and I'm going to make a video about it. 1982, we played Sydney in the Escort Cup in the preseason game, and for the first time, I've ever seen, we wore a flying V like what Port Adelaide do. So it's like black up the top here and then white, so no stripes. They just don't have fun, and everyone's wanting the swooping jersey back, and they're not even going to wear it at Gather Round. Like there's been no announcement. It's next week. I just think they just need a little bit more fun. But not as passionate as Pommy is, but they definitely do need a little bit more fun.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Because I always get shot down for this. No offense to Jake, because I think St Kilda do it brilliantly. They pay homage to their colours, and that the purple Maddie Guernsey, best Guernsey in the league. Do you know what I mean? And when you do take a little bit of change, you still honour it. Because you've got like what we have, a very iconic Guernsey, haven't we? Yeah. The navy blue. You've got the black and white stripes. Like I actually associate that with Collingwood now, not Newcastle. That's how much I view it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like both of us clubs are probably the worst clubs in the world, that we have got quite a boring colour palette for our home Guernsey that the away one you can be really extravagant with, really exciting. Because don't you find it fascinating? We're going to play each other now, and our away kits and home kits don't actually stop the clash.
Yeah, it happens, especially in the Carlton Collingwood game. It happens all the time. Like, it's either, it's a Collingwood home game, so we'll wear the predominantly black with the black thing with the white jumper, white numbers. But sometimes when you guys are the away side, you've got the dark blue on the back as well. So when you're looking at it from afar, it looks exactly the same. I think, you're right. I think the away one, or just have a third one, just have a fun one where it's just absolutely anything. Like at training, Gold Coast do it good. In gather round, they're going to do that pink jersey, which I absolutely love. I love it so much. Doesn't make sense for them to do a pink jersey, but it's sick. It's just something fun for one game,
Boys, on Thursday, and my man Eddie Maguire agrees with me on this. Carlton Collingwood at the MCG, there ain't no colours, mate. It's navy blue and black and white. You can be creative in any other game, no problem.
100%. Yeah.
Not on Thursday.
You see, I disagree, though, because I think he would be right if that was played at Vic Park and then it was played at Icon, the return fixture. But back to Jake's point, this game is being played at a neutral ground, effectively. It's both of our home grounds. So there should be an advantage for who's named that home team, right? Which then gives the other team an incentive to say, hang about, our pride has been affected. So imagine if Carlton had like an orange respects Guernsey, which... To go to Luke's point, they've all got their own charities. Wouldn't it be great if their third kit was linked to the charity that they really promote?
Yeah.
So imagine Collingwood home game, Carlton have to wear their orange. Collingwood get their black and white, right? But then, say, another time, Collingwood don't wear their black and white. They have to wear a neutral colour, a third one, and the Blues get to wear their proudful all-blue kit. Like, that would give an advantage to the opposition and the home. Like, there should be, even though I'm a blue-eyed Carlton fan, the home game, there should be a direct advantage to me because this whole myth, like when Carlton have a bigger home crowd, we've just got 20,000 wine wafflers in. We haven't got real fans. All that's changed is we've got, Campbell sat there with his little dignitaries. That's all we've got. They don't really care about the club. Not hardcores there. So give us an advantage on the field. You guys have to not wear your kit. We get to wear ours. Advantage.
Yep. I like it.
I like it.
I do.
That was good. That was a big one.
Can I just ask, before we get on to anything else, because this is me, I don't understand if it happened. They announced the community game. Do we know which each team is fighting for? That they're doing the diversity round. Do we actually have any knowledge yet of what club is doing what?
No, they just announced that. No.
Because that would be a cool... let's just say if Collingwood, from my memory, you've got a large Maltese contingent, haven't you?
I actually don't... Oh, yeah, I think we do. I think we actually do.
So wouldn't that be cool if you incorporated the Maltese, the red and white,
just a big
into that Guernsey for that week? Because I know I'm never going to get a team that's going to represent England. It would be great, but they'll just forget that I'm here. But wouldn't that be great? Carlton had the Italian flair sewn in there somewhere, that real nice homage.
It would be pretty sick. But yeah, I don't think any of that shit's been announced yet. So wait and see, I guess. See what they do.
All right. What's next?
We talk about Collingwood Carlton. It's time.
I've been talking about it for 20 minutes, boys. Jeez.
True, we have. Jake, we have. Why don't we do... You're right. Let's do Lock of the Week.
What are the games?
I'm 2 from 2. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm 2 of 3. I think I got this one wrong early.
First one wrong. Who did I lock on my tipping video? Oh, I'm locking the Saints against Port. That's who I locked on my tipping video.
Wow.
Don't do that.
Actually, no. Yeah, no, that's who I'm locking. Yeah. No, I did. I said Saints against Port on my tipping video, so I'm locking that now. Because I don't really like any of the other games that are sort of going around. Geelong are going to smash Melbourne. But yeah, Saints.
I was half tempted to go north against Sydney at Marvel on Saturday night. I'm like, that could be interesting.
That could be really interesting.
Because Sydney, they're coming off the bye. North weren't bad against the Crows. Like, they can hold their heads high. They were pretty good. They kept fighting. Otherwise, who else is there? Yeah, I'll probably go north. I'll go north over Sydney. Why not?
Shout out to Pommy. He picked the Bombers last week
You did.
after they got belted the week before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I
Not
don't
just
know
a
who I
pretty
picked.
face.
I have a really clear lock of the week. It's
Really clear.
like
He's
so
get- I-
clear.
It's
Collingwood.
the Blues. He's going the Blue Baggers. He's on the train.
Good friend of mine. His name is Joe. Just reminded me of something on the Monday show, the Blue Broad show Monday, and he said, "You guys will know him, Joe from the Almost Blues Brothers." And he said, like I've been a meme for the last 5-6 years, whatever. He's like, "What's one more?" And I thought about it. I'm like, "You're right, Joe. The Blues will beat the Pies Thursday night. Lock of the week."
All right. All
I
right.
wonder
Gonna
why.
click
I
that.
wonder why we're bad and we've got people proud to be a meme. Jesus, trying to raise the standard here. Lock of the week. Proper football club, a real proud football club that are coming out fighting at the minute. Hungry. Adelaide Crows by more than 5 goals to prove time is crom.
Ooh,
Interesting.
They're going to do the job.
by more than 5
By
goals.
more than 5 goals. It's going to be the battle of slingshot football. And Adelaide are going to prove they are here to stay.
Are they
Oh,
doing
the
a Sydney-
Crows!
They're
The
doing
Crows
a
fans,
Sydney-
honestly, the Crows fans, we've got a big Crows fans contingent on our channel and Saints, and I'm regularly enjoying watching both of them games. But the Crows, I'm on them at the minute. Love the Crows.
I do love the Crows.
They're doing
Do you know what I
really
love
well.
from the Crows? I love Michelini. I love him.
Hmm.
I'm all about Sid Draper. Also, their customer service. If Carlton want any advice, check them out, man. Brilliant. Best experience as a customer in my life.
Ooh.
First time
What about
of the year?
this?
Yeah, it could be. That'd be
Oh.
bittersweet.
The vomit.
would be,
the vomit all over my body if that happens.
That's not a bad shout.
That would be 2 points gained, though, for us and 2 points lost for them.
That's true.
Mm.
Teresa, there is no wager for Thursday night.
You told me off camera you're gonna spray your hair black and white if we won.
I mean, he's just going to add the white.
I don't have a wager in me. I just know I don't have a wager in me because, like, if we lose, I just know it's just going to be. It's just going to be.
Yeah, but then
it's
you
gonna be
got
a-
2 easy weeks after that, man. It's not over.
No.
What's,
Have you watched that show?
what's one more
Easy
meme?
weeks. Fucking
One more
hell.
meme?
Huh?
I said,
Then
what's
you have
one?
ways.
What's one more meme? You know, what's one more meme, Terry?
Yeah,
what's
that's
one more
true.
rating?
Well, I just did. I just put Carlton as lock of the week, mate. So that'll get clipped
That's
up.
that's the meme.
That's the meme.
That's the
There you
meme.
go.
Get your balls out, Terry. Teresa.
My balls out. Mate, I've been talking about Carlton for like every week for 8 years. Like, what else can I? What more can I do?
That's true. That's punishment enough. The punishment, if we win, you have to do a match review and a fan cams. That'll be your punishment if we win.
As in a match review for Collingwood.
No.
Just
in
continued
in
living.
general, 'cause that's what you're
Just
gonna do
continue
Oh, yeah,
existing
yeah.
after the
Oh,
final
gosh.
siren.
Yeah.
Just be you, Terry. That's enough.
Okay. I am enough, guys. I am enough.
It's good. It's gonna be good.
What else have we got? Do anyone want to bring up anything? Any other questions? Anything else?
what's a
Got a
burning?
little bit of time. Anything random?
Oh, what's
Who's the-
we did this a couple of times last year. Is anyone watching anything good at the moment?
I just finished. Well, I mean, I was, but I'm annoyed. But I finished Severance. That was the fucking best show. I
Good?
told you, Terry, to watch it, man. Severance, get on it.
You did.
It is unreal. It's the best.
Severance. Yeah, I don't make the time to watch shows. I just don't. But I believe you. I'll get there.
Seriously good. Yeah.
Oh, I've got a random one. Go and check out the Museum of Desire.
Do you have a ticket that I can clip when we go there? Because it'll be like 10th visit free or something.
Yeah, is this a? Can we get an offer or something?
Hey,
or
it's not the NGV. It's different. No, highly recommend the Museum of Desire. Yeah, something different.
Is the comedy festival on as well right now? Is that
Yes.
just me?
No, that's on
Is there
Thursday
any
night.
good Thursday
Go
night.
see-
films? Yeah.
Go see
Yeah,
Broden
MCG.
Kelly solo.
Thursday night, £7:30.
Go to the Museum of Desire and then to Broden Kelly's solo show if you can get tickets. It's going to be so good. I love me.
Actually, I lie. It's at 11 o'clock live on the Blue Abroad channel. Fan cams. With 3 hours, bro. Go your boots. You might as well, Jake, because I've been.
I'll be in bed. I'll have a tea and I'll be tucked in bed.
I
sleeping
watch you
away at
when
that
you
point.
lose from your car. It's only fair that you get your just desserts.
The live reviews, they're packed up now, so you won't get that luxury, unfortunately.
I am watching something. If you are into your ghosts and things like that, me and
Yes.
Mrs. Pom are really into our Twin Paranormal recently. It's on YouTube. It's
Twin
really
Paranormal.
good if you like your ghosts and spooky things and demons. We watch a lot of that because,
Twin Paranormal, did you say?
Is that like
Twin.
unsolved
Twin.
mysteries? That's on Netflix.
No, it's just
isn't it?
two twins, ironically.
Oh,
And they just investigate real haunted locations with their little ginger mate.
Cool.
But the history's really good. Like me and Mrs. Pom really enjoy the history. But everyone's got to have a ginger mate, haven't they? Got a ginger mate. We've all got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I do.
missing.
Irish
Yeah.
lad.
Yeah.
Spot there.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
I
We've
think
all
you're
got it.
right.
It's one of them things,
Yes.
isn't it? It's like when you put a flag on your Twitter profile, everyone thinks you're a nice guy. It's the same having a ginger mate.
Yeah.
I've got a question. It reminded me if anybody here watches any of the channels that are not your club's channel, so if you're watching Jake in the car after a game or Pommy on a watch along or whatever, if you're or the fan cams as an opposition fan, I think it should be a rule that you should be subscribed to that channel if you want to enjoy the entertainment of watching that team's channel like meltdown.
100%. Oh, you're talking,
I mean,
yeah. You're talking about like, not obviously us. You're talking about if other fans want to watch the fan cams. Yeah.
Yeah, like so for the fan cams, for example, like last week it was like 50% subscribed, 50% not subscribed, which I would think means opposition fans are watching.
Yeah.
Hit the subscribe button. Absolutely. Like you're getting a free ride. Like the least you can do is hit the subscribe button.
Yeah, I agree.
Terry's found a shortcut to being the most subbed AFL YouTuber there. Well done.
Yeah, that's
Absolute bravo.
That's crazy.
No, we're gonna have mate, I'm telling there'll be no opposition fans on Thursday. We're winning. I don't know how, but we're winning.
These games are always 50-50, really, when it comes down to
You
it.
know what, as well? Like, you know what? You know, the weird thing is, and I'll ask Swoop this, because someone brought something to my attention today. An old man that I respect a bit said to me that he thinks the rivalry from your end means a lot more than it does from Carlton's end. And when I was like, really? And he was like, you keep the old school hatred alive in a modern day way that we know your guys want to batter us, where we kind of will spend all week now playing clips from 1980 and things like that, where you guys are coming out there and saying, Carlton are 0-3. Let's fucking make them 0-4. We love this. And Maynard did that interview today where he kind of said they're too good to be 0-4, but wouldn't it be great if we knocked them to 0-4? Like you can actually see it means something to you guys a lot more than it does Carlton players.
Agreed.
I think it does. I think it even means, a lot to the fans as well. Like Terry, you mentioned, or you always mention when you were doing previews and stuff, when I'm watching it with the Carlton stuff, you know, even today's one, you said, you weren't alive for the 70s, 80s, that rivalry, but you kind of see it a little bit now when people still tell you about it. I think this is, it's in the new age, but it's kind of like what you said, Pom. I feel like, well, from what I can see, it's huge, especially from Collingwood's side. We always get up for this game. Doesn't matter where we are. Doesn't matter if we get belted by 50 points. We're always talking this up like it's going to be the biggest game. Am I worried about the game at all? Yeah, I am. Honestly, yeah, and I said that on my preview today. Like,
He's lying.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I said this to you guys last week.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't worry either. Trust me.
No, I am legit. Not worried, but like I know that Carlton are going to come out like a fucking steam train. That's just if you don't get up for Collingwood, or if Voss and Cripps can't get this team up for a Collingwood rivalry game, there's more questions to ask than we're 0-4. Where do we go now? You know
You've
what
just
I mean?
hit me with the AFL version of "It's not you, it's me." We should see other people.
But Pom, would you agree that who cares if it's a rivalry game? They should be getting up every week. That's the position they're in. They should be past that point where it's a big game. We need to get up for 2 times a year. We play a big team. They're too good for that. They should be playing every week with that same level, that same professionalism. Isn't that what
agree with,
Terry and Pom, they preach that all year. That's what they want. I don't
agree
think
with you,
being
but
a rivalry game makes it any bigger, surely.
I agree with you, but like for every Alexander the Great, there's another person to aspire to, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? Like the famous story, Alexander the Great, when he conquered the world, he cried tears because he had nothing left to achieve. Like I think every human being has to have that one thing you look at that says, right, you know what, I've got to beat them. And I think that's the wonderful thing about sport. Like, for me, I agree, but when you hear Collingwood speak, there's a modern day hatred. It's not like it was years ago, but you can see with Collingwood, they're like, we want to fucking do Carlton. Where with the Carlton, we are talking like you are. Yeah, well, if we don't get up this game, next game, there's next week. Like, I want that mindset of, don't care we're 0-3. We don't go 0-4 to these twats.
Yeah.
And it should always be there, but it's healthy. Every sport has rivalry, doesn't it? Nadal versus Federer. Do you know what I mean? There was a healthy rivalry. There has to be. Like, I'm sure with Saints, you guys have got that hatred. It's Geelong, isn't it, from memory?
Yeah, Geelong a little bit, Bulldogs a little bit. But I wouldn't say... I mean, we tend to get up for the Geelong game. Yeah, but I mean... I don't know. I don't pump it up as much, I guess. Like, nothing kind of competes with the Collingwood Carlton, Collingwood Essendon.
Like, can you imagine Man City?
Rivalry.
Like, Man City, like Pep Guardiola going, yeah, it's a big game, but that's more for the fans. Like, Pep Guardiola ain't going to be like...
Against, exactly right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Exactly right.
Celtic Rangers, you ain't going to hear Celtic going, oh, it's all right, Rangers haven't won the league for 3 years. Like, if we drop this one, it's all right, we still won it. They want to win the league by breaking Rangers' hearts again because it's going to make them. I think that's important in sport. I just feel,
true, but I mean, that's
as a content creator, I feel like this died.
Man City would win the title by beating the teams they should, and then they pinch the points off the good teams. If we're being really picky with these analogies, Man United's not a threat. Like that's a big game. We'll get up for it, but the points to be won. Where you should, like the games you've had, that's where you finish in the top 4. Not by beating Collingwood. It's by beating the Bulldogs. It's by beating these teams that you should.
Yeah, but
that's how you make the top 4.
You look at them in history. Liverpool were in a title race, beat us 7-0. And they never did that to any other team. Do you know what I mean? And we were...
I think, there
should be an element of hatred for your historical... Especially, I think you owe it. I think that's a culture problem. And I do notice... Being a content creator for so long, while I'm glad not to be a full-time Carlton content creator anymore, one of the big reasons that I don't enjoy it is I feel like no one truly gives the respect from our side for what a great historical rivalry it is. And I see that reflected from our club. To me, it feels like another game that happens to have more history to sell. But when I hear Maynard speak about my Blue Boys, there's genuine fucking hatred there. There's a genuine, you can see it in his eyes. There's a genuine dislike for Carlton, and he wouldn't feel bad at all about walking off that pitch and seeing Cripps cry. And that is why I think they're so good in this fixture. There's an element of hate.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like, I love you guys, but I genuinely hate Carlton with a passion. And I said this in an interview that's coming out soon, that I wouldn't date Margot Robbie if she was a Carlton supporter. I'd say no, thank you. No, thank you, Margot.
That's just a big lie. But anyway.
No.
I was going to say,
No.
Margot, if you're watching, slide into his DMs, yeah?
No, don't. If you're a Carlton supporter, don't bother. Don't bother.
That is great riz right there.
Honestly, if there is a God, please make Margot DM him.
She's watching. She's
WID,
would
you do it.
I'll get her on the show next week.
Mate, I wouldn't date a Carlton supporter, so I understand.
Fucking hell.
Valid.
Well, we all have our locks of the week. We've all had a great night. It's 9:00 almost. I reckon we call it a night, lads.
Done.
It's been a beauty. It's been a good show.
It has. That was a good show.
This year so far, or best ever maybe. I don't know.
I reckon, yeah.
That was right up there with every
too.
topic was fire. It was good.
Yeah, that was a good show.
It was a good mixture. It was a good mixture of everything.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being here, everyone. In the chat, in the audience. If you're watching this later, thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed it. Wherever you are watching it from, make sure you like and subscribe to that channel. And see you next Tuesday. Go Footy.
See you next Tuesday. See you on Fan Camp Thursday
Saints.
night. Bye.
See ya.
Up the footy.